What's up, guys? Brady Briggs here for another episode of the Combat Logic. No, I'm just going to do some post fight shit today until tomorrow. I'm going to do some pre fights to UFC 262. But let's start out with Bellator. No, Eric Perez, picked up a good win. He hasn't had one in some time. His career really hasn't gone like I thought it would. He started out, he was like 10-4 making his UFC debut, got 3 first round finishes, like straight off the bat, and really hasn't been the same since. Glad to see him pick up a win. Now, Henry Corrales got submitted by Johnny Campbell, a Bellator newcomer that's 20-13. No, I don't think any of us expected that. Henry Corrales is a very good fighter. And like he's not the elite of the elite, but he's a good fighter, dude. And Johnny Campbell, dude, he looked great against him. He's got a lot of skills, man, on the feet. Like he's got good leg kicks, he's got good body kicks, he swings hard as fuck. Um, he had a great performance, man. I can't like, dude. He's only the second person to finish Corral, or actually, he's the third. Now that I look, Manuel Sanchez and Patricio both, or no, Daniel Strauss and Patricio both submitted him. Nonetheless, none of us saw that coming. No, Apache Mix got a vintage submission win in the middle of the third round. That was good to see. Lorenz Larkin picked Pedro Carvalho, or Rafael Carvalho, sorry, to a split decision. It was a close fight, but, I mean, Lorenz definitely won that fight. Rafael Stotts dominated Josh Hill, as, a lot of us figured he would. Michael Page, people are still calling him a can crusher, and that is true. Derek Anderson's not a can, though. Derek Anderson's a very good fighter. He's still a very bad stylistic matchup for MVP, or vice versa, rather, because he's a striker, and he's kind of a traditional striker, like kickboxer, boxer with some kicks, kind of. I'm glad he's more active than he has been, but he wasn't going to beat Michael Page, dude. Michael Page has the best point sparring techniques in the world, and he knows how to add power into it. Like, I heard a couple people on Facebook that weren't calling him can crushers saying that he would be a problem in the UFC. To some. Peter Quilley beat Patricky Freire. That was very surprising. It was by a doctor stoppage. It was a good win for him. I don't think any of us expected that either. Anthony Johnson he viciously knocked out Jose Avezco as Azevedo. But he didn't do it easily, man. This dude almost knocked him out at the end of the first round. And, man, we've never really seen Anthony Johnson hurt like that before. No one's ever almost knocked him out, dude. He almost got starched until he came back. Something's telling me like Jose is a pro kickboxer or something, because he's got some really good striking, especially for someone who's only 6-2 or 7-2. Well, 7-3 now. But then Sergio Pettis picked Juan Archuleta apart to win the Bellator bantamweight title. I didn't think it was the best move for Sergio to go to Bellator, because Bellator doesn't have a flyweight division, and Sergio is not a bantamweight. I'm sorry, but he's small, dude. He's a natural flyweight, and I thought he was going to win the flyweight belt. Like, if he was in the UFC right now, I think he's the best flyweight in the world. Seems like Henry Cejudo and DJ are gone, but yeah, I think he would have won the UFC belt, but he went over to Bellator and won a world title in a weight class above. So that's even, I think that's about equally as impressive. Almost, anyways. No, both Pettises are world champions. That's pretty awesome. It was at the point for a while there where we were thinking, Sergio he's not as good as his older brother. He's not going to blossom into what his older brother did. But no, he had more losses early on, but grew from it. Anthony didn't have many losses early on. He had them later on. And it appears that it was too late for him to really figure out how to rebound from it. Sergio, he had them all early enough, all before like 25 years old. So he's got a very bright future, man. Sergio Pettis, he's one of the most technical strikers in the whole sport, man. He's so talented. And then UFC Vegas 26. All right, well, before this, I'll just talk about Canelo and Joe Saunders before I forget. That was a really good fight, man. I was really looking forward to that. I can't say anything about Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Watterson, because I only glanced back and forth at it because I chose to watch Joe Saunders versus Canelo, considering pay-per-view main events in boxing, you usually can't watch until a few months after they happen. Billy Joe Saunders, like, Canelo looked good in the first 2 or 3 rounds, but Billy Joe really started to pick him apart after that. Like, it was starting to look like, whoa, is Canelo really about to get dethroned by someone with 30 fights right now? Like, that was like Dominic Cruz getting dethroned by Cody Garbrandt, who was 10-0. It's fucking insane. Anderson Silva getting dethroned by Chris Weidman, who's 9-0. Like, it's insane. It just shit doesn't happen. Especially when the pound for pound great in boxing, like, that's insane. And yeah, Billy Joe was picking him apart. I had him up 5-3. I could see 4-4, but I had him up 5-3 at the end of the 8th. Or no, I did have it 4-4 because I had it 4-3 for Saunders going into the 8th, and Canelo obviously won the 8th. So yeah, 4-4. But dude, he was looking very good, but no, he just got his face broken, and the corner stopped it. But Tafon and Jikwi lost to Jung Young Park on Saturday. I was a little upset about that. I really love Tafon and Jikwi. He's a 13-1 amateur Muay Thai fighter. He's got very good striking. He's built like Yoel Romero. He's from Cameroon. He's got a lot of potential. He's only 24, 25 himself. And then Mike Trezano beat Ludovic Klein, which was really impressive because Trezano, down to the month, hadn't fought in 2 years. It had been a minute. In his last fight, he got submitted by Grant Dawson. But no, he looked great. He took him like, I don't know, a round and a half to find his range. Like, he was sticking the jab out there the whole fight. But I'd say it wasn't until the end of the second round, like start of the third, where he really started to land it and be effective. But he almost knocked Ludovic out in the beginning of the third with a beautiful right hand. It was vicious. Good performance by him. I'm glad to see him back. And that was Ludovic's 20th fight and only his 3rd loss. Like, that's a very impressive win, especially for not having fought in 2 years. Gregor Gillespie and Carlos Diego Ferreira. Man, dude, this fight was insane. This fight was really insane. Like, I think we all expected it to be a real scramble fest, but man. All right, so Gregor got KO'd in his last fight with a head kick by Kevin Lee, and that was a year and a half ago. Carlos Diego Ferreira, let's see how many times he had fought since then. Oh, he'd only fought twice since then. He went 1-1. Submitting Anthony Pettis, losing a split decision to Benil Dariush in a very, very close fight. And Dariush is on a 6-fight win streak now and had 5 finishes coming into that or something on that 5-fight win streak. So Carlos Diego Ferreira almost knocks Gregor out in the first round with his boxing, and Gregor's hurt badly. Like, he's really hurt. And like I said, he just got starched in his last fight, and it was over a year ago. And that was his only loss. He was 13-0 going into that fight. Came into this one 13-1. He survived, got the takedowns. He got swept some of the times, but, got back to his feet, took him down again. And, man, this was just a straight-up scramble fest, a straight-up sweet fest. And toward the end of the second round, Gregor took Diego's back, and, he was looking for a choke, but obviously that wasn't going to happen, so he rolled him over, pounded him out, 451 in round 2. He's got a couple late second-round finishes. He beat Yancy Medeiros in the end of the second round, I think. He beat Vince Pichel in the end of the second round. His pace is just too much, man. He was exhausted after that first round, too. We've never really seen Gregor Gillespie tired. He was tired as fuck, but he got a second win. And people, what really surprised me about that? Dominic Cruz said that he was surprised that he got his second win after that first round. And it's like, Dominic, you were, the smartest person in MMA. How, have you not seen him fight before, bro? You're so smart, man. I know you know more than that. Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Maurice Green was a very upsetting fight. First off, de Lima just out-wrestled him and did absolutely nothing on top the entire time. And Green just allowed it to happen. Now, obviously, his takedown defense wasn't good enough. He didn't just, want him to do that to him, but he didn't really have anything for him, and it was upsetting because Green does have a good guard, and all 5 of De Lima's losses in the UFC are by submission. But it's upsetting. I like Maurice Green. He's fun to watch. Neil Magny versus Jeff Neal. This was a very good fight. Jeff Neal really came out and pressed the pace in that first round, man. Dude, he hit him so fucking hard throughout the fight, but especially in the first round. And whatever judge scored at 30-27 for Magny, fuck you. Stop. Like, you shouldn't be a judge. Like, the commissions really need to get on top of stupid douchebags like you. Neil Magny looked great, and so did Jeff Neal, though. And then in the co-main event, Alex Morono finished Donald Cerrone toward the end of round one, kind of like I thought was going to happen. Like, I really wish they would have just let Diego have that one fight so Cerrone could go out on a win, dude, or go back down to 55 on a win. But nope, he's 0-5-1 in his last 6 now. Fucking wonderful. Like, Alex Morono hits hard, dude, and he's got good striking. Like, Cerrone said that he fell in love with his grappling and wrestling again for this fight, and that's great. I was very excited for that because I was like, if it goes to the ground, he might be able to submit him. Cerrone is one of the best offensive submission fighters ever. Like, dude, he's a pro kickboxer, and he didn't get his first knockout win in MMA until his 16th win. 12 of his first 15 wins were submissions, and he submitted a lot of people since. But he couldn't even take him down. And honestly, Donald Cerrone has really underrated wrestling. Like, he's been able to take down most of the people that he's tried. He's got great timing with that double leg. He fucking picks the knee, he turns the corner. He's very good at it. But he couldn't take Morono down. And his striking obviously just isn't the same anymore. Like, he's getting older. And it's sad to see. I wish the UFC would stop giving him killers. Like, they need to fucking, like, there's nothing wrong with star building a little bit, especially when someone's on the tail end of their career. Like, but no, they just feed him to the wolves. They keep feeding him to the wolves. Like, Nick Diaz returning, for instance, and they fucking offer him Khamzat Chimaev, who I get only has 9 fights. But, dude, Nick hasn't fought since 2015. Before that, he hadn't fought since 2013. Like, come on, dude. Like, there are ways that you can give these guys fights that would entertain the fans more and that would be better for you and the fighter. But the UFC doesn't do that, and it's sad. So, I don't know. Cerrone might honestly be decent for Bellator. It's sad to say, dude, but he's getting to that point. He's getting older. He's just not the same fighter anymore. I hate seeing this happen because I've been watching Donald Cerrone just about longer than I've been watching anyone. I started watching the WEC in 2009. I watched that for a little over a year before I even knew what the UFC was. And, yeah, he was like one of the first 5 fighters I really started paying attention to. And, it's sad, dude, but it happens to almost all of them. And when they go out on top, we don't want them to because there's still, like, George St. Pierre, like Henry Cejudo, like, who else just retired last year? Could be Nurmagomedov. Like, we don't want them to. We know that they can add more wins to their records. So it's a very double-edged sword. But what do y'all think of the fights, and what do y'all think of UFC 262 this weekend?